let me tell you something that I ponder pretty often. We all like percentages in our role-playing games, or it sounds like we all like them. Sweeping generalisation, I know, but why, when we play D&D, are we messing about with a D20 when it's a fifth of 100? Hello, I'm Colin Green, and you are listening to Spike Pit. Alright, set down your pitchforks, extinguish your torches. I know this is blasphemy, but a guy's got to ask a question if he's on his mind. Why don't we just get rid of that D20? Why are we letting tradition stand in the way of common sense and progress? The D100, infinitely understandable, intuitive. Come, join me in the crusade to multiply all things by 5. And whilst you're at it, let's have a listen to a few call-ins, feedback for previous episodes. Some of it related to fractions, some of it, not so much.
Hey BG, I like your reduction of stats to do cool social things. I think that could be an easy add-on to one of the mechanics in DCC. You already have the luck mechanic, and you could have like a bard-ish type character that lets you do that with charisma or another stat, or just make it general for all the characters to do that. And maybe a charisma type or a charisma-based character can regain it faster, much like the halfling regains, or the wild child in Umerica regains luck faster. So I think it's a really good idea. And in fact, Umerica has done that in a different way with not just the wild child or your base, roguish type character, but also that type of mechanic with the driver type character like Mad Max. So anyway, we know Umerica is the best game, but only Jason wants to play it for.
I like the idea. I think messing with people's attribute scores is one of the things I'd like to do more. They're super static in D&D, and I don't think they necessarily need to be so. When we played the Black Hack, there was quite a lot of toing and froing on attribute scores, and up, down, they were all over the place, and I thought it worked really well. I think there's lots of scope in the way that BJ's been talking about, and Carl in that calling. Also, custom abilities dropped in here and there. There's no limits. Well, there are limits, your imagination, but I think we could explore this further. Always interested, as ever, in hearing what people think on that score. And talking of BJ, we got a call now from Jason, picking up on another BJ-esque theme from an earlier show.
Hey Colin, Jason here. I'm a little bit behind. Been riding the bike to work, so I haven't had a chance to listen to podcasts. Just listened to your Translate episode. Yes, I hope BJ does do that review of the Green Knight role-playing game. Very interested in that. I'm familiar with the story, but I haven't seen the new movie yet. So, of course, if you haven't seen the old movie, Sean Connery plays the Green Knight, so that might be of interest to you. Anyhow, the reason I'm calling more so is you asked about sci-fi experience. And the last sci-fi game I ran, well, other than little one-shots using really light rules, although the principle's the same, was the Cyberpunk game that you participated in. And my answer to doing things like that is to tell the players yes. So you weren't there for one of the early sessions, but, well, and this was with the other group, actually, because I was running two groups concurrently for a little while. But basically the hacker, what the role that Barney played in your group, Eric Salzwedel was doing in the other group. And when they were confronted with some bad guys getting out of their vehicle, what Eric did is he hacked the vehicle's controls and then used the vehicle to take out the bad guys, use their own vehicle. He took control of it and then started doing donuts in it and spinning around and knocking the bad guys, knocking the vehicle into the bad guys, stuff like that. And, that was cool. So I said, yes. And you were in the game, when Barney wanted to hack into something. I said, sure, go for it. Now, I did that maybe a little bit too much, but with a little bit of tweaking, I think that works really well. I should have thrown Barney some different difficulties and made it a little bit harder for him to do things. But to me, I wouldn't want to get in a Star Wars game. I wouldn't want to get in a deep conversation on how BAT's sonar works. It would be, we all know it's kind of sound related. So if you take the horn off a speeder and amp it up, as a GM, I would let that go. That's not saying Darren's doing anything wrong now. I look forward to getting to playing a solid game by him, at some point, because Darren's an awesome player. So I'm sure he brings a lot to the GM seat. And I'm definitely not criticizing that. I'm just saying my personal style would be to tell you, yes, you can do that. And then, depending what roles you have to do to effectively create that device. By the way, the movie of Sean Connery's 1984 Sword of the Valiant.
I've definitely noticed since my return from Cornwall that there is a niggling Arthurian itch that needs scratching. Perhaps some of this Green Knight would do the trick. Maybe I need to look into some myths and legends, some books. I don't know. I'll take recommendations from anybody who wants to call them in. Perhaps Arlen Walker, if you're listening. Do I need to read some Mallory? Do I need to do something else? I know there's loads of stuff out there, but time is limited and I want to get to the good stuff. With regard to the sci-fi stuff, I've very much enjoyed Jason's Altered State game, and I can confirm that he is certainly a GM that says yes, and I don't really think he says yes too much at all. I think he's got it pretty much spot on and did a great job of keeping the action flowing. Hard on himself. People that have played with Jason or listened to him will know that, of course, but I'm having none of it. They were really great sessions, and I was sorry when that came to an end, but it's just one of those things. And I agree with the idea of just saying yes. In fact, I think BJ again was talking about the idea of how in sci-fi games the technology can be hand-waved, a bit like magic gets hand-waved in fantasy games. That seems like pretty solid advice. I'm not, of course, running the Star Wars game, so that would be up to my brother. And I know sometimes he kind of worries about... Well, not worries. He isn't always comfortable with loosening the reins. It's something he's been experimenting with a bit more of late. We have heard then today from the GMologist Carl Rodriguez, Jason Connolly of Nerds RPG, Variety Cast, and closing out the show, as soon as I finish my thank yous, got my old buddy Spencer, aka Free For All, from the awesomely named, and I was going to say that, Keep Off the Borderlands.
Hey Colin, Spencer here. Loving the RPG a Day month episodes. It's been great to hear your voice on a daily basis. Loving the readings and the fact that you're using it as an opportunity to maybe air some messages that have slipped through the net. And it's just been good. I think there's something to be said for putting out short episodes more frequently. Says a guy who hasn't put out an episode all month. But, just things are a little bit complicated around here. What can I say? But, yeah, really great to see you back in the saddle, as it were. Yeah, long may that continue. Take care, mate. Bye.
And that, as they say, is a wrap. Big thanks goes out to you, the listener, for taking a bit of time out of your day to listen to old Spike Pit. Take care, and I'll catch you later.